Hey guys, welcome to another video on Mitzie channel. I'm Mitzie and today we're gonna be talking about drawing, where I started, why did I stop at the beginning of high school, and where I am now with it. As you can see right now, there is a time lapse going on of my latest drawing and how I did it. So it's basically gonna last as long as my talking lasts, so in the end we're gonna see the final design. But meanwhile, while you're watching this process, I wanted to talk about my art journey and the whole process of me just like drawing, what did I do, and how it all came to be. So art has always been a part of my life, and like all kids, I used to draw a lot. That's how kids express themselves, and I think that's the innocent time where you don't think about whether you're good or not. You just do it, express yourself, and enjoy every minute of it. And it was definitely a simpler time. I really do miss it. So I continued doing it later on more seriously, mostly working with pencil, learning how to make it as realistic as it can be. I was really into that, and a lot of my practicing like consisted of copying other people's work, and I genuinely think that's how it's supposed to be. So that's how you learn different techniques and how to draw certain objects. It was a bit hard for me because every time I would draw something, I felt like I had to justify myself. Oh, I was watching this other artist, so I was trying to copy their work to improve my technique as much as I can. And I feel like that's why people never really accepted my work. So when I started doing other drawings, it was like, oh, well, this isn't the same quality as like the ones that you copy. And of course, it shouldn't be the same quality. Like, it's two different things. And I just have all of these negative feelings that are really connected to it. So I got into learning about perspective and like proportions and how everything is made of shapes, how you can basically draw anything by watching it and looking at it, and you basically transfer all those shapes that it's made of onto a paper. And I really got into that. So kind of that criticism, I guess, even though from this point of view it wasn't really what I would do to somebody who's starting out now, I kind of managed to even push more and be better at it. But later on, things kind of got a bit different. So I was spending probably the majority of my day just drawing while in elementary school. So it was kind of my thing, and I can't really remember the exact moment when I started to get really self-conscious about it. So worried about other people's opinions, trying over and over to make a perfect sketch, and just ending up ripping papers. Like that's all that I can remember. I would get this new notebook and I would like say that it's for drawing, and I just remember like ripping 15 pages just because my sketch didn't work out by, I don't know, I guess my opinion and other people's opinions. So confirmation from others was really important to me, because the people who consider themselves artists obviously had to have this certain type of thinking and style. So they would always kind of stand out, right? You would always know who the artist is in a group of friends, and they would just have this unique style, and you would always know that they're kind of like have this special way of thinking. But the thing was that I was just like as plain as I could be. I didn't really stand out by anything. I dressed normally. I didn't really do anything special. So that made me feel not worthy of ever pursuing art. And a few times, like really a couple of people told me that like to be an artist you have to have an artist soul, which to this day I still don't know what it is. Like, I still don't know what that means. But I guess this certain kind of mindset that we usually associate like with movies and stuff like that. And I don't know, I felt like I didn't really have that. I think that people who kind of gave those opinions weren't really sure what it is too. But it really affected me because I was in this formative years, like the end of primary school, beginning of high school, and I I already had a lot of trouble with myself just because of puberty and everything. You're basically barely accepting yourself as you are, or you're actually learning, and anything interfering with that can be really bad for you. So I guess I slowly started to get discouraged in high school. So here we have different types of high schools, and we also have art schools. So where art classes are accentuated. So when you finish primary school, you can choose whether you're gonna go to the regular high school or you're gonna pursue art or something like that before college. So you do this test on your skills, and that's how you get in. But I decided to go to a regular high school pursuing science because it seemed like a better option at the time. So I was guided by this idea of having to do something really meaningful in my life. And by that, I thought meaningful was to be a doctor or a lawyer, so I skipped on art. And only later I realized that I didn't really follow my heart with that one. I was insecure about art to begin with, and guiding me in another direction was really easy. Plus, growing up in an environment that isn't really financially stable, I guess, and like country that isn't really financially stable, us kids here, we really do get raised in a way that you have to think very, very clearly about your future. You have to get a good job, so then one day you can be capable of supporting your family and so on. And I guess that every parent has this need to protect their child, so I totally get that. It's just that science didn't really turn out to be this good thing for me because I had a lot of trouble in high school. I couldn't really get into it, and it was a complete mess. So for the first year of high school, I was still drawing, buying more professional equipment, and around the time I was finishing the first year, I got a drawing tablet, so which is able to be connected to a PC and enables me to do some digital work. So things were still kind of going that way, but that's when things, I don't know, I was packed with homework and tests and science classes. They didn't really interest me. Also, during the lack of practice, I've fallen out of my usual routines when it comes to drawing, and some things from my personal life interfered too. So drawing eventually became this lost dream of mine. It started taking up too much of my time, but I was like pressured in high school to have like good grades so I can get into a good college and things like that. And it was just a matter of priorities at that time, so I just decided to quit on it. Never really like specifically, there wasn't this specific time where I really decided, but at one point it just wasn't a part of my life anymore. So in the meantime, other interests came to, the first plan. So in the meantime, I started my YouTube channel about books, and I've been doing it for 3.5 years. I mentioned it in my first video, but you wouldn't really understand any of it because I'm speaking in Serbian, my mother tongue. But anyway, I have a lot of corporations, connected to that channel. I'm working with publishing houses, this and that, because it's a small community here, so there is a lot of work. And I finished high school and pursued my college ambitions. So I study English and English literature and culture now, and for the first time in my life, I'm exactly where I want to be. When high school was ending, I was kind of like, no more science. I think I'm finally done with it. No more math. I can get a good grade, but I just don't have the patience of just sitting and practicing. It isn't something that really fulfills me. So I decided to pursue English, and about that, as I said in my first video, want to apologize either for my accent or possible mistakes or stutterings, because I do really sometimes have trouble with that, but I'm still learning and still practicing. That was kind of like the first firm decision I ever made. I was like, this is the college that I want. I don't care where I'm gonna be next. I just want to do it. So I like the thing that I'm studying, but art began to kind of linger in the back of my mind a few months ago, so I slowly started to get back into it. So I decided on merging two of my hobbies, so drawing and photographing, and make something out of that. So a lot of my skill is gone, as you can see, because I'm basically drawing over my photos and having a lot of trouble figuring out the proportions and shapes of all of that. And also this tablet, it isn't really like a display or anything, so my hand always shakes when I try to draw directly or something like that. So I found an easier way to do digital illustrations, but in the meantime I'm really working on paper and I'm doing stuff with pencil, so I'm kind of slowly getting back into it. So sometimes maybe I can film that too, so you can see that. So it takes some time for me to get back into the same mindset, but also to find time while I'm passing exams and getting through my first year of college. One thing that is like 100% true is that this is probably the first time in my life since I was a little kid that I'm truly enjoying making art. So I've grown a lot as a person, especially in the last 2 years. I'm 20 now, and I think that by letting a lot of stuff go, I kind of managed to be relaxed about my art and to express myself through it in whatever way I find enjoyable. This podcast is dedicated to lost hobbies that aren't really lost sometimes. Sometimes you have this thing that you're interested in and you tackle a bit about it, and when you find things out, you move on to the next thing, and sometimes that is all there is, but sometimes it comes back, and I think that's beautiful. So it's fun to experience art after such a long time and to be inspired by it and to use it as a way of expressing myself without thinking what other people are gonna think. Am I good enough, or am I doing it in the right way? If you're asking yourself these questions whenever you create something, that means something's definitely off. I think it's good to be critical and to listen to other people's opinions, but not give yourself so much hard time about it, like I did when I was a kid, and I basically lost that interest just because of what other people said to me, no matter if they said it in a mean way or not. So nobody told me this then, that art really is an individual thing, and your kind of art, even though different or all the same as other people's art, it has the potential of leaving a mark. So maybe not to millions of people, but you'll realize that that doesn't really matter. So just, I don't know, maybe like printing out designs onto a t-shirt and giving it to your best friend and them loving it can make all the happiness that you need to feel. So that's my take on it. I could basically go on talking about this and art in general, but I wanted to share this personal experience and the stages I went through and my feelings about it all. And for the end, I want to say that if you're watching this, or to be more precise, listening to this, I want you to know that it's really important for your hobby, whether it is drawing, writing, or I don't know, painting. It's really important for it to make you happy and fulfilled, and if it's not making you feel that way, be sure to ask yourself why, and check if it is because of what other people think or if you don't really enjoy it. So you need to ask yourself questions and kind of clarify that to yourself. Don't feel discouraged, because usually where one hobby ends, another one begins. I stopped doing art, so I did a YouTube channel, and I'm still doing that channel, but I'm kind of like also pursuing art right now. So all you have to do is to be willing to look and seek for opportunities to learn new stuff and grow. Like, that's what it's all about. So people say life is short, but I always say if you like concentrate on the now, when you look at it, life is hella long, and you really have all this time that you can dedicate to pursuing different hobbies. And I mean, in the end, why the fuck not? Like, why wouldn't you just do it? You know, like, we're given this time on this earth, and you're basically choosing how you're gonna spend it. So I mean, if there's painting, if there's writing, if there's this and that, and if there's anything that like sparks that a bit of that interest in you, you should definitely go ahead and try it, as I did with art. Maybe it won't stick. It was a big part of my life, and then it wasn't, but now it's kind of like this just a part of my life, you know, a small part. So maybe it becomes big again. I don't know. But I think that all that matters is to be free, create, and create. Like, never stop creating, no matter how it turns out. That was it, guys, for this podcast. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments. And if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And yeah, also hope you like the final design. That's all. Thank you so much for listening and watching this video at the same time, and I'll be seeing you next Sunday. Bye, guys.